This gathering is like breathing life into the stories of our past, uncovering their significance to our identity today, and creating meaningful narratives that shape our aspirations for the future.
Is something that I would like to stress is the actual interest of these topics today, basically in Portugal and Europe and in the world. Throughout the day we will hear contexts and concepts like colonial collections, museums, Filipino hats, travels.
In our institute, it's a combination of chemists, physicists, biologists, and material scientists. We want to preserve these objects, we want to restore them, but sometimes the techniques we use harms these objects. So this device can be used to monitor what's happening with historical pieces.
There are enormous potential of the data collected as part of this research project. Many avenues of research remain open and will be developed in the future.
You have individual portraits only of Europeans that our travelers meet in the Philippines. And the indigenous are portrayed only in this essentializing way. So this is the problem.
Now, at that time, as there were conquerors, the Portuguese military brought a lot of things to the geographical society, which had been created a few years earlier. And a lot of local museums, yes.
One singular legacy in Andalusia from Philippines, you can read here, is from Doña Francisca Gabriela de Nieto, Señora Gobernadora. She was the wife of the governor of the Philippines.
What we really like is for people to come into the museum and participate in creating and participate in discussions and to serve as a platform for people to encounter people that they wouldn't normally encounter.
I contributed to two recent works. My contribution in both cases deal with Philippine topics.
Now, the strength of this beautiful workshop is the stellar and marvelous list of speakers we have coming from several disciplines. We have authors, professors, museum specialists, PhDs in physics and in chemistry, all wonderful things that we could use as far as understanding more of who the Filipino is concerned.
Likewise, the word agam carries dimensions of the future and of the past. Such an idea leads one to reflect on the notion of time for the Filipino.
Yes, we have a Starbucks in Manila. We're practically in every street corner. What do you think we are, a third world country?
Over the last 10 years, as an artist and educator, I have appropriated Western techniques into a hybrid form that best serves me and my students, expanding it to fit the reality in which we live.
So what can you do with this? You can create family trees. You can analyze textile fabrics, origin.
So this family, I believe, they're friends with the royal family. So that's why they also have photos of Alfonso XIII that is in their family album.
The board signals something more than just an itinerary. The American soft drinks brand, whose logo it displays, Pepsi, reminds us of the new ways in which the former colonial power continued to assert its dominance in the newly independent Philippines.
And so, which brings us to the present, that the material tradition of indigenous Davao is a treasure, but not to be kept locked in museums all the time. That tradition is very much alive and meant to be appreciated by all of us in the Philippines, not just in faraway museums. After all, culture is alive wherever there are people to practice it, live it, and appreciate it.
Selling my whole life with these words.
sueste-asiática.
Hello, my name is Patricia Dacudao. I'm the chair of the Ateneo de Manila History Department. It is important to have scholars from multiple disciplines be in one place to discuss their own fields of research, to support and to further the understanding of peoples and cultures. So there's history, there's this hard sciences, there's anthropology and literary sciences. So everyone should be talking to each other to understand not only Filipinos, but basically people around the world.
I think it was a very, well set in a number of sessions. I think people sometimes don't recognize the labor and the work put in curating such level of events. And the curatorship is actually recognized in the number of people that you put together and how they are there and why. And the way that you see this is not only by the presentations themselves individually, but essentially in the energy that you are seeing, after and during the debates, and at least in my session, in the cross-pollinization and the intersectionality that you saw in between the different, speakers. And this I thought we saw today, and this was one of my main takes, from the experience, hosting and moderating the debate.
Hi, my name is Joyce Martin. I'm from the Université Catholique de l'Ouest in France, also from Ateneo de Manila University. I talked about tanda on a wax tablet, which is basically a linguistico philosophical approach of memory studies in the Philippine context. I loved this gathering so much. Each of the topics were very interesting. First of all, because they were from experts who love their topics, and they were who were expressing them in a very, very interesting and new way for me. And second of all, I learned a lot from each one, and it was great to discover different disciplines coming together talking about Philippine objects.
I'm Stephanie Coca-Rank, the founder of Portugal-Nigeria Business Trade and Investment. This was an absolutely marvelous day, a day of knowledge, and it's been a wonderful experience to see such highly knowledgeable people come together to share, to plant a seed really on how we can truly use knowledge, science, art, creativity, a humanitarian angle to bring new perspectives that will really shape interpretations that will enhance bringing a new dimension to colonization, but from a new perspective that will tell a new, different story from the countries in which they were colonized. And I think this is just the beginning of a very, very strong foundation and movement to telling new stories from the context of those new nations. And I'm just so excited to have been a part of it. I would like to thank Stephanie Chu for this incredible initiative, and to all the amazing speakers, contributors, professors. Thank you all. It was really absolutely a day of absolute excitement. Thank you.
My name is Herman Marques Guedes. I have a complicated background. I lived in the Philippines for 3 years in Apoios, so highlands, for 3 years. Then I came back and went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and was president of the Diplomatic Institute and Policy Planning Director for Portugal, and happily became a professor, and I'm a full professor of law, now retired, thank God. And I'm very, very happy to have a connection to the Philippines, to have had a connection to the Philippines for many years. I was in the Philippines from 1979 to 1982, end of 82.
so it's very close to my heart. And I'm very happy that there was a series of conferences today in which I gave the closing remarks and I chaired one of the sessions. This is the third time this happens. The first time I was the only speaker, the second time I was one of the speakers, it was bah. The third time was absolute marvel because of Stephanie Marie Koo and the ambassador and the embassy and the senator who's financed it all. So I'm very happy, and I hope this becomes every year a one-year affair with all sorts of people who know about the Philippines, who care about the Philippines, who love the Philippines as much as I do. Thank you very much.